Yo, 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 what's good with it? This is your boy Phil, aka Fanatic Phil. Just wanted to do a little video today about the upcoming NBA free agency that starts on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. West Coast Time. I think it's going to be very eventful. I think it's going to be very interesting because there's a lot of factors that are going to go into a lot of the players' decisions um, that are going to basically restructure the NBA going into next season, especially with all the injuries to the Warriors. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be real interesting. You know, first thing I want to talk about is Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. There's been several reports that both of those two guys have met up several times to discuss their future on where they were going to play. Um, right now, the report is Kevin Durant was rather upset with the Warriors. He felt like they put pressure on him to play, even though he really wasn't ready to play. Which and he ended up getting hurt. Not saying that got him hurt, but I'm sure it didn't help the situation that he was already injured going into the game. And him and Kyrie are really good friends, and they've talked about playing together before. So I guess with everything that happened in the finals, I guess that ramped up a little bit more after the season ended. So right now, what they're discussing potentially Brooklyn or the Knicks. They're leaning towards Brooklyn for what I'm hearing, because the Knicks are just tough. It's a tough sell. It's Madison Square Garden. That's a great place to play. It's a historical place, but the owner of the team is just James Dolan. He's just a lot of players don't like him. They don't like the way he does things, and he's saying he's going to turn over a new leaf, but you never know. Talk is cheap, so. The team, if Kevin Durant and Kyrie are going to play together, it's going to be with the Brooklyn Nets more than likely, is what I'm hearing. There was that, pipe dream about the Los Angeles Lakers. I doubt that was going to happen anyway. They just put the Lakers in the news to just, get people to watch, because people either hate the Lakers or love the Lakers, so they know if they put the Lakers on, they'll make news. But I never really thought that was going to happen. I thought it was a nice dream. But, at the end of the day, he wasn't coming to the Los Angeles Lakers anyway. I didn't expect that. As a Laker fan, I didn't expect that. Next thing I want to talk about is Kawhi Leonard. There is growing belief that he is torn because Toronto, I believe, is telling him that if they bring the same team back, they might be able to run it back. And with the Warriors being taking a step back without the services of Kevin Durant. Even if he signs, he's not going to play next year anyway. And Klay Thompson missing the big portion of the year, which we assume he's going to re-sign. So that's, with them being hobbled going into next season, sky's the limit. Like, everybody's going for it. That's what's going to make this free agency period so entertaining, is teams are going for it. So it's going to be fun. Anyway, about Kawhi, the Clippers and the Lakers are the Clippers are more of the favorite. If he leaves Toronto, he's going to the Clippers, in my opinion. If he went to the Lakers, that would be a complete shock. Number one, the Lakers don't have a max spot available at this time. They have a little bit less than a max spot, but I'll get to that later because I have something I want to talk about them as well. But they only have I believe the most they can get to is $28 million. If Anthony Davis renounces his trade kicker and they're able to trade some of the assets that they have, Mo Wagner and Isaac Bonga and one of the other players they have, they can free up to, I believe, 28 million. But that's not enough. Kawhi's, commanding 33 million, so they won't be able to get to that max slot unless he wants to take a pay cut. And he's an MVP caliber player coming off of a championship. He's not going to take a pay cut. So, and I don't think he wants to come to the Lakers anyway. I think he wants to compete with LeBron. He doesn't want to help LeBron win more. So, which leaves us to the Clippers. If he leaves Toronto, I think he's just going to sign with the Clippers, basically, at the end of the day. Which takes us to Klay. Like I said before, Klay Thompson staying with the Warriors. It would be shocking if he left the Warriors at this point. He loves them. They love him. As long as they offer him a max, he'll stay. No questions asked. Kemba Walker is another story. He said he would take less kind of a hometown discount from the Charlotte Hornets, but, he at the end of the day, he's not going to win in Charlotte. And they don't want to go to luxury tax in Charlotte. So they're at that point where it's time for Kemba to walk and they can just start rebuilding with a fresh roster because they have some other bad contracts that they need to figure out how to get rid of. and just rebuild through the draft and get young players. You know what I mean? Because you can't really, at this point, they're not going to win with the roster that they have with Kemba. Kemba's a really good player, but they're not going to win without Kemba. They're not going to win. So you might as well clear him out and just start fresh. Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is interesting because I don't really know what's going to happen in that situation. The Sixers are going to offer him the max, and they should. He was very important to their playoff run last year, and he's a very good player, and he mixes really well with Joel Embiid. But he doesn't mix really well with Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons likes to have the ball, and they ran the offense through Jimmy Butler in the playoffs because the offense actually ran better that way. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that dynamic works out going into the future. I fully expect Jimmy Butler to be back with the Sixers, but the Knicks may offer him a contract if they can't get, one of the top tier free agents. They might offer him a contract. They might overpay. And my opinion is either him or Tobias Harris, I believe, will be a New York Knick, because whichever one the Sixers don't take, I feel that the Knicks are going to save face by trying to overpay and get somebody in there to play with the young team that they have. The Knicks actually have a lot of young talent on that team. They drafted R.J. Barrett this year, and they got Kevin Knox and a couple other nice players. If they're patient, in a couple of years, they'll be great. They'll be probably a playoff team. But they've waited so long, they want to be in a position to at least have a big-name ticket draw. I'm guessing they would be the team that would reach and overpay for somebody that doesn't really deserve that kind of money. Jimmy Butler deserves it, but I would say like Tobias Harris is a really good player, but he's not a max player, and I think they would max him out, and that's not necessary. Last but not least is my Lakers, word on the street is they've been talking to D'Angelo Russell on the possibility of bringing him back, and in my opinion, that would be a great choice. He's very good in the pick and roll, and I feel like the Lakers with Anthony Davis are going to run a lot of pick and roll because that's when he's at his best. I think it would be a very efficient. He's another ball handler that can run the offense when LeBron is not in the game or when LeBron is on the court and wants to play off the ball. D'Angelo Russell's a very good ball handler, very good passer, has good court vision. He's a solid three-point shooter. He checks a lot of the boxes that you look for in a point guard. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to do that. I've heard they set up a meeting, so they're going to talk to him, and if they can get him on I think the money that he commands is anywhere between 20 to 25 million. So they'll have that. It would hamper them in building the rest of the team. But if your main four guys are LeBron, Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, and D'Angelo Russell, I think you can work with everything else. You can surround them with role players, and I think you might be able to get some guys to sign for the minimum just to try to make a run at the title. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said before, can't wait a few more days till it happens, and I'll be at the edge of my seat. Get my popcorn ready, and kick back, have a beer, and check it out. So that's pretty much all I got today. Feel free to subscribe or like down below. Feel free to check me out on Instagram at fanatic_Phil, and also feel free to contact or hit me up on Twitter at PhilGrayson6. So until next time, I'll see you when I see you. Peace.